Good afternoon. I'm so excited to be here to start this rosacea healing workshop. I just put it here because I never did this before. This is the first time, but I'm so passionate about this topic because so many people suffering these days. I know because I did suffer myself too. And so I want to put some light and to walk you through in this really controversial area and give you some little expertise and really my decade experience. And this will be not scientific lecture. This will be, I will tell you my journey, and especially I tell you what the science is telling us now, that we can take and really have some practical tips that you can apply from this today. That's what I want for you. I want that you walk from these sessions every single day and you start applying them in your life. And so, hello. Who is here? Let me know where you're calling from, so I know, because our crowd is really international. So I'm now in New Jersey, so I'm running computer and my phone is here, so I will glaze sometimes to the messages that I can see what's going on in the chat. And so I like to focus on you this week. That's why I created this Facebook group. Originally I thought I will do Zoom, but I think this community is much better. And so I want to give you all my knowledge, and because if you're looking for some answers and you really didn't find them, maybe I can shed some light there and give you some more answers that can be helpful for you. And you know, this is, health is not destination, it's a journey. So whatever you're dealing with, we're dealing with the skin disease, rosacea, it's a journey. And you know, some of you might have rosacea for many years. Some of you might have rosacea for a few years. And so even if I'm talking about one thing, like one subject, like for example that rosacea is linked to IBS, each of you with IBS will have a little bit different symptomatology and as well the root causes. So that's why it's just so individual, and that's why the personalized medicine is something that we have to really thinking about these days, and really this is the future. And that's what we will talk about this week. Everything will be about functional medicine, integrative approach, and of course sometimes we do need antibiotics. So you know, because I was the one who was prescribing antibiotics every single time when I've seen my patient with rosacea. But when I got sick myself, I had to reestablish a little bit, and I was looking for answers. And all dermatologists, my friends, they told me, well, it's so bad, you have to take antibiotics. But luckily, that time I was pregnant, and the other time when I went to other dermatologists, I was breastfeeding. So kind of the fate pushed me, I think, into this area of exploration. And I had to look for some answers, and I found, and I tried and it didn't work out, and I tried again. So basically it took me 10 months of really discipline and trying all sorts of things, journaling, everything, because without this we don't know what's working. I'm sure you're very familiar with this, but you know, I don't want to go too much in this. I just want to welcome you here, and I'm so happy that we are in this group together. Just be all in. Really, this week is for you here. Participate in the video, comment in the videos, and comment on other posts people make, and ask me anything. Really be curious, because as I say, we all have same disease, but we all will have different root causes. I can guarantee that. And so I'm here to serve you. I'm super generous. Really, I want to give you all my knowledge I have in my sleeves, in my pockets, so you can thrive. And even if your face will, either you can reverse it completely, or if it's like you have less flushing, you have less inflammation, it's just that's why we're here. And so I know it's hard to live with rosacea. It was hard for me too 10 years ago. As I told you, I got sick and I didn't have a choice. Every morning when I saw the mirror, I said, so what is happening today? What I have today? What I have to cover up? So I know how it feels. It's very frustrating, and sometimes we feel angry, we feel you know, just frustration, and this doesn't help the body to heal because we have all these feelings, and we know these days when we have this anger, this frustration, it drives the body into inflammation mode. We're not in this parasympathetic mode, we're more in the sympathetic, and that's very, this is not scientific lecture. I want to explain to you in a simple word, because majority of are not medical. I see my colleague is here, but I would love to explain to you in simple terms so you can understand, and you can really like, okay, when I'm stressed, I have to do something about the stress, because I know that the body will not serve you. It will really create more inflammation when we're stressed. And so I just want to as well give you a hope, because even some of you might have it for a really, really long time. I've seen so many people that I help that they were able to improve, and those are the people who are committed, who really put the work into it, and who went out of the comfort zone. Because sometimes as you hear me at the end of the week, in the beginning we'll be talking about all the triggers and all the physiology and all the the gut health, but at the end we will dive as well into the mindset, about the emotions, about the family system that we're taking on. And this all have an influence on our health, and this all can influence our rosacea as well. So this is really very holistic view that I developed to have, and I think it's a correct way to look at many things in life, because we know that this drives diseases, and this drives as well health. So what is rosacea? I don't go much into the a detailed description, because everybody here know what it is, but I just want to remind you that this is not skin disease. Yes, it appears on the skin, but it has very complicated pathophysiology that really involves genetic, environment elements, as well as regulation of innate and adaptive immunity, something very important to realize, that immune system is involved, same as the neurovascular responses. Will be different to people who don't have rosacea. And as we talk a lot about microbiome, definitely skin microbiome as well gut microbiome seems to have really play a big role. So how and which bacteria colonize our body, this can result in infection and result as well in recurrent inflammation. So before skipping, I will talk about gut health on when is it? Thursday? No, Wednesday, Thursday. Tomorrow I will talk about inflammation, which is a huge chapter, and you will have so many realization as I had before. What is the first really important thing that we know from studies, and that's what I experienced as well on myself, is that really rosacea, I just look in the chat here. Oh, hello everyone. Nice to see you. Nice to see you all. So rosacea has been associated with various gastrointestinal disease, including the IBD, such as celiac disease, irritable bowel, so IBD and IBS. All of these, I don't go deep in this as terminology, but everything that has we know that's wrong with the gut, you might find this will be a link for you. So if you are constipated, if you have diarrhea, if you are bloated, if you have tummy ache very often, or if you can't eat many food, if you see that food is a trigger for you, this is your area of exploration, and this is somewhere I would do first, because we know the gut health is absolutely hallmark of our physiology and how the body works, because we are more microbiota than bacteria than the human. It's just we know that now when we count the genetics material, we much more bacteria. They are joking, the scientific community is joking, they are walking bacteria. And so this is something that I want to mention, that really it's important to realize that rosacea is associated with all these diseases that is from the gut. Other one is Helicobacter pylori infection. This is a bug that really sits in our stomach, but is really acidic, and so he's really resistant. And as well SIBO. I will talk about SIBO on Wednesday. And actually, I will have some guests as well to talk about SIBO on Friday. So I'm looking forward to this. But I would like to just mention that, for example, the Helicobacter pylori for some people can be really just mild symptoms, and for some it can be really, they can even develop ulcers and all these. So it's just such a rainbow, as you can see. And as you know, it's few types. There is the ETR, the the telangiectasia, and then you have the papulopustular, and you have the phimosis, so and the ocular. So I don't talk about this. This you have to deal with, be diagnosed at your doctor's office. This is not my job here. My job here to give you some tips you can do without physician today. And by the way, it's all like, I can't prescribe and tell you what to do. This is for educational purposes only. But I wanted to translate all the science that I studied for so long and experience on myself, and I want to share this with you. So always think that if you have rosacea, there are things that will be, you have to ask how can I improve my immune system? How can I improve my neurovascular system? How I can reduce inflammation, and how I can improve my guts, the gut bugs and the bacteria on my skin. This is basically all the buckets we have to go, because and the thing is that they all linked with each other. So we can't really just work on immune system without working on immune inflammation, because they working together. If we improve. If we lower down inflammation, we will improve immune system. And so it's really important to see this as a whole. And I can tell you, I learned so much in the last years about this, that it's eye-opening for me almost every single day what I learn. Now I'm wearing the the glucose monitor, and so I learned so much now about what food I eat, what the glucose is doing. So I'm just so excited that you're here, that I can share this with you. So today, and before we start, I really want just to ask you to show up each day, because if you miss one session, you will not have the continuity that you will not be able to connect the dots at the end of the sessions. So I will really make sure that you join, and if you can't, you watch the replay, because this is something that I like to, because then you will be able to ask me questions at the end, because it will be more kind of, you will have an idea. But again, as well, I would like to mention that this is not, I would not be able to give you any medical advice, diagnosis or treatment. And this just, I want to give you really health and nutritional information, and really information, education about rosacea that the latest science is telling us, and that we have to really have a closer look. And so let me introduce myself, if some people meet me first time here. My name is Radka Toms, and I am a medical doctor. I'm actually, my profession, I'm an eye surgeon or ophthalmologist, and I used to treat people, as I told you, always, every single time when someone comes, I would prescribe antibiotics for the eyes and for the topical and as well oral. And then I got sick myself, and because I told you we were living in Germany, United Kingdom, Australia, now we live in Princeton, so I always have I have rosacea everywhere in this country, so it's not related to where you live. I as well had to I completely changed my paradigm, how I practice medicine and how I look at the patients, because I realized we can do so much ourselves, and this is something that I will keep telling you whole week this week. So if you're looking for a quick fix, this is not for you. But if you're looking for really powerful tools that if you apply them, that can really change your life, then stay, because this will be really good for you. Okay, so today, session 1 is the 5 triggers. I go straight into, because we have a lot of things to talk about. I just look at the chat. Hi, Jamie from Illinois. Nicole T is our community manager. She is amazing girl. So if you have any question, ask. And Ankela is here. Hi, Ankela. Ask Nicole or me, and we will be here to answer a question if we know the answer. Okay, so 5 triggers. So what are the 5 triggers? You might think I will talk about spicy food and, alcohol. Yes, alcohol is one of them. But I want to give you the big picture because we all eating it every single day. And that is processed food. And processed food is something that you should chop today already. We should all remove processed food from our cabinets because it creates inflammation. It makes us sick. And even if you, you are on the way to improve your rosacea, you will be surprised what even processed food means. It might be healthy food in the restaurant, but they're using wrong oils, and already that will create inflammation. So if you have a really lovely broccoli and they pour on it canola oil, that can create inflammation in your body. So you might think, oh my gosh, what is this? So the fat and which type of fat you're using will be the first trigger. And that's something that I want to talk about as a first. Because we need to really look at the fat, because every cell in the body has membrane around the cell that basically holds the cell together, and it's all fat around. So if you're consuming the wrong fat, that the membrane can be rigid, can break easily, and all that can die. It's another chapter that we can talk. But today I just want to give you again practical. I want to be practical for you, so you can open your cabinet and see what I'm eating today, that it will not inflame my body. So just give you a little bit perspective so you know why you're doing this. Consuming I will talk about omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. These are the fats that really create disaster. Not only with rosacea, but as well with other diseases that we didn't have 200 years ago. So consuming high amount of omega-6 is strongly associated with the risk of heart disease. We know that heart disease is associated with rosacea. So we have to pay attention. This makes sense because we know that omega-6 are really inflammatory fatty acids compared to omega-3, which are anti-inflammatory. So they are omega-3 and omega-6. This is like simple. These two fats, you have to be really careful which one of them you will use from today, and that's how much of each we using. We call it ratio. So we know now that the consumption of omega-3 from animal food is lowest as ever been. And these, as I told you, the omega-3 is here. Omega-3 are the anti-inflammatory. Those are the ones that we want to have every single day. And omega-6 are those that we don't want to have as much. We need some, but the ratio should be like this, 2-to-1. But now we're not doing so well because the standard American diet as well, and not only in America, everywhere else as well, because we are eating the Western diet. We're not eating necessarily the food that grows in the garden. When we look back in our ancestors, the hunters-gatherers, they ate mostly land animals and they consumed this fat, omega-6, omega-3 ratios 2-to-1 or 4-to-1. So really, that was the balance ratio. That's what we want. Compared to, sorry, I just hit the mic. However, Inuits, though Eskimos, because they eat so many fish from the ocean, they eat really omega-3 1-to-4. It's like they eat much more omega-3. But these days, as I said, it's not only in America, it's everywhere in the world. When we really eating Western diet, our ratio is 16-to-1. We eat 16 times more omega-6 than omega-3. And this creates inflammation in the bodies. This definitely, we know with my colleague here, I'm sure she will agree. We've seen some successful stories. It's improving when people with ocular rosacea starting some dosage with omega-3 fatty acids. So this is something that we have to, yes, supplements is one chapter, but you have to look really what kind of oil are you using on every day, because you either really fueling inflammation on everyday basis and even you don't know it, or you are creating and protecting the body from that. But we talking inflammation all the time, but inflammation is essential for our survival. It protects our body from infections and injury. What I'm talking about is the chronic, this low-grade inflammation that we hardly feel. This is the feeling when we have brain fog. This is when we have pains and aches, when we have migraine, when we have all these things are some kind of inflammation. And this chronic excessive inflammation really contributes to disease, and that definitely contributes as well to rosacea. And so we know as well from science that this chronic inflammation is one of the leading drivers of all other diseases, not only rosacea. So I said the heart disease, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, arthritis, Alzheimer's, and all type of cancers. So it's serious. And I can tell you, when you start looking to the oils, what are you consuming, you will be amazed how much you can learn, because that's what I learned. For example, I used to love, I used to eat a lot of chocolate, and chocolate is high in omega-6. So you can imagine that how the ratio is. And if you don't eat anything else much, you don't eat much of seafood, or you don't eat any other rich omega-3 fatty acids, then you easily switch to this horrible ratio. Yeah, my colleagues just write that we recommend those 2,000 for 4,000 daily of omega-3. Yes, and you'll be amazed how your body will just feel different. I could see it on myself as well. There's now new science that it's as well improve, reduce depression. So it's huge. The fat is it's a big chapter. And all these, all these little innocent baggie with snacks that kids having in school every single day, like all these Cheetos, Doritos, and all these things, they are filled with omega-6. Anything that is packaged will have omega-6 fatty acids, period. And as well, the technology to process these oils we didn't exist until about 100 years ago. So that's people have not had time genetically adapt to this high amount of omega-6. So this is something that we have to look at. So the message from this is eat more omega-3. The best source is fish, such as mackerel, salmon, cod liver oil, anchovies, sardines. Always remember SMASH. So it's SMASH is salmon, mackerel, anchovies, herring, and sardines. It's Mark Hyman. I don't know who invented it, but I think it's wonderful. SMASH. Always remember SMASH, because all these big fishes, the tuna, they will be, they are contaminated with mercury, so it's not good. And what you have to avoid is all these cheap vegetable oils like sunflower oil, corn oil, soybean oil, cottonseed oil, because they all contain high amount of omega-6, and they will really create inflammation in the body. Look now, any chocolate that you look, unfortunately as well Lindt, I thought Lindt is good, but even they all put soy lecithin, and that's like basically the omega-6 fatty acid. And so and as well, because it's so cheap, for example, soybean oil is just like it's the biggest source of omega-6 fatty acids here in US, because it's really cheap, and it's found in everything, really, in every you watch. And as well, the butter that you're buying in the supermarket, if you don't buy the real butter, it's all filled with these oils. So it's something that I really want to plant a little seed in your mind, so that you really look at this in a little bit different angle. There are some good omega-6. So for example, the butter, coconut oil, lard, olive oil, they are low in omega-6, and so that's a good source, because we need some omega-6. But really, just the sunflower, corn, and soybean is just is not good. As well, the canola oil is overused, and it's something that we don't want. So yeah, this was on first trigger, and that is fat. It's very innocent, it's very hidden. People not talk about it, but it's big driver of inflammation. Jamie is asking, should we take fish oil with, I can't tell you what to take, unfortunately. It's beyond my expertise here. You have to ask your doctor, but I would actually test it. There is a test. That's where I would start. You know, you can, I'm currently not taking, I can tell you what I do. So I don't take fish oil now, but there are times if I know that I will not have fish, or if I don't have omega-3 rich food, I will take some supplements. So it's kind of, I like to do everything in the diverse, you know, I rotate everything. So it's a good idea to really look at some good and take some time. And there is a test that you can really, from blood, you can test your ratio, omega-3, omega-6 ratio, you can test it. So it's something I would really, you can start there and you can see how you are with that, because, you know, if it's completely off, this can be enough for, if this is a problem for some people, because, you know, you have rosacea patients when they as well need to lose weight because they have insulin resistance and they live where there is not much movement. They have to work on these things, how to lose weight, how to cut the sugar and the fat. And when people just lose weight and start moving, everything is getting better. And when you already did this, when you already, you know, cut the sugar, you are really have this good diet, and it still doesn't work. You have to dig deep, and you have to see if there are more environmental triggers. For example, if you live in a mold environment, or if it's something that you breathe is really damaging, or if it's you know, you have to do then some testing. So this is what I'm telling you this week. It doesn't involve the testing. I will here and there I will spray some you know, I will spread some test idea. But if this is where it fascinates me, as we all have the same thing, but we always have to find our own journey to really get out of it, because we don't heal same way and we didn't get sick same way. So we as well have to get better in our unique way. And so back to the theme. So we have the first one, that was the fat. So remember fat, omega-3, omega-6, you have to always think, ask in the restaurant. I'm always asking in the restaurant what oil they are using, because I just care, because I remember I just really have literally had just some vegetables that I know I can eat, and only because they use this poor oil, I feel it immediately. So because that's how your body will tell you then if you are doing this for some time. So second trigger is sugar. I know that many of you try to cut sugar, cut gluten, but it's really, it's just so important, the sugar and sugar metabolism and the metabolic health. It's just so important that even the little nuances can throw you off in the beginning when you having the healing journey. When you will heal the skin, like I did, and I had a long time, I had a red nose, and I was fasting, and then I had coffee with some cinnamon on it, and I didn't do anything. I knew about cinnamon, but it was just like too much for me. And so I know that cinnamon, it's described in the literature that it's a trigger, but that's what I mean. It can be just one little thing. I don't mind cinnamon now, but that's why journaling is super important in this, and this is where it's so complex, and you have to be determined to improve your skin, because it's not straightforward. But you will learn so much this week, so you will do big steps. So the second trigger is sugar. Sugar, there is no discussion how detrimental it can be for human health, how excessive consumption of sugar can be harmful. And I'm not talking only about candy. I'm talking about everything that actually metabolize into sugar. So it can be, if you eat my diet. Before I did my journey, I was eating for breakfast was croissant or some bread, lunchtime was some pasta or some like potato, and dinner was some again bread or some sandwich. And if I throw there some tomato, I thought I'm having healthy meal. So this is sugar loaded eating, and this is not correct, and this after some time we will all get inflamed, and this is something that really people don't realize, because they, and as well these Doritos and this chips, actually they as well can you know, this fish, goldfish, or all these snacks, basically they are just collection and perfectly blended addicted substance that will they putting the bad oils there, and a lot of sugar as well. So and not only that, sugar creates inflammation, that I will talk about more tomorrow. I will talk tomorrow about this topic, because it's super important. And if you if you have, your waist is more than 35 inches, you have to start there. If you are, you know, it's not for someone who is who is very skinny, although that can be people that, it was it was me, I was skinny fat. And so you have to, those people, they are not obese, but they have high cholesterol, and they basically thin on outside but fat on inside. And so it's as well, it's hidden, but it's as well, you have to look really deep on how you can improve your diet, because this will always will drive the inflammation. So, and what is as well with sugar is that not only it drives inflammation, but as well it leads to a nutrient deficiency. There's risk of cavities and accelerating the aging process. So more sugar you eat, more wrinkles you will have. And now, as we're talking about the skin, it's clear to the science is clear about this. Now the scientist wrote the book Glucose Glucose Revolution. She's talking about it, how we are when we're eating sugar, we're frying like a toast. So everything that is brown, think of this, everything that is brown like caramel, yeah, I know, lovely caramel, that will create inflammation. So I'm not saying to never have it again, because that's not the point, but we have to go from this amount that we have to figure it out what is really, what we cannot have today until the skin is healed, and then we can you know, enjoy it time to time. But maybe there is a few things that plays a role, and that's why the journey is so amazing, because we can discover so many things about ourselves. And that's why I think this is journey of discovery and self-discovery, and actually as well personal growth, because we have to have some courage to walk this, because it can be exhausting sometimes. But I just want to tell you that it's really amazing, because you will learn so much about yourself. And as I told you, this was my problem. I used to eat a lot of chocolate, and you know, maybe you didn't hear the story before, but I was telling the story on Instagram. But I used to work as an ophthalmologist, and I did never have time to. I just love the job. I never have time to eat, and if I eat, there was this potato, and so not really good quality meal. And in between, if I didn't make it to the canteen for lunch, I would just eat chocolate all day long, and so I would never get obese, because I didn't have enough food. But I will just slowly and gradually will basically creating inflammation more and more in my body. And so I realized when I was practicing medicine that eyes are really amazing. The retina is really so metabolically active. It's really sensitive indicator of health and nutrition. And that's when I start to realize, and I just said to this patient once, he was a little bit obese and he had diabetes, and I said, you know, if you do this, I give them paperwork for what to eat and what not to eat. And he came back in 6 months, and he lost weight, and he transformed his life. Because why I'm telling you this story is because the two reasons. Lifestyle these days drives majority of diseases that we have. Yes, rosacea there is a genetic component, of course, but the majority of this is driven by our lifestyle. What we eat, what we think, what we do with our body, the whole lot. And so this guy, why I'm telling you why it's important and why he succeeded was for me, I didn't realize it back then, but I realize now when I'm helping people to do this, and I see they are successful when they have people around them. My gosh, I hope I not cry again because I always it's just so powerful. Basically, this guy decided with his wife to do this together, and so he had support. Sorry, he had the support, and this is what you have to find if you don't have it at home. You have find it in this Facebook group, or you find it in other Facebook group, but you have to find your tribe, the people that you understand you. People who would say like, you're ridiculous, why I don't want to have piece of cake, because they don't understand how is it to stand in a mirror every morning. And okay, so that's why I want to tell you, everything is possible if you just keep going, and you have the support that will understand you, that your decisions are correct for you. Because trust me, I lived it every day. Even my dad was telling me, what about this sugar all the time? And now after 10 years, he said, yes, you are right. But we sometimes, when we so so vulnerable, it's hurting us, and we think, oh, maybe they're right, I'm useless, I just can't do this. No, we have to find our tribe. We have to do what is right. You have to do what is right for you, whatever it is. If it's eating low histamine food, I will get to that this week. But if it's eating low histamine food, do it. If it means that you will not touch sugar for 3 months, do it. If it means that you will just have a 10 hour sleep, do it. It's just, we have to find things that are out of balance, because of we are out of balance, we have this disease. Like with every other disease, when disease appears, it's like disease. It's when the body found a way to tell you that something is completely wrong. And I really this is something I don't want to tell you today, but because of my little cry, I tell you that I had to really change, because I was a people pleaser. I was always saying yes to everyone, and then I did never have time for myself. And so this is not, I'm not telling you become selfish, but I'm telling you that the body that you own it's like, that's what we have, and we have to take care of it. Because if, for example, again, I can talk for myself, if I was just overlooking this disease and didn't go to the root cause of this, I might have some other disease on the road in a few years. So that's why, as you can see, I was not ready to do this workshop a long time, because it's still emotional for me. But I just want to share it with you, because it's so important. And very often I see how people are so lonely, and they don't know where to go, because it's just, nobody will understand you, and you don't even want other people to understand. You just have to find your people and really find yourself, what is good for you. And it goes from the food, what you eat, what you drink, and how your communication with people goes. Some people telling me, well, I speak with my boss and I go red. So some work needs to be done there. So you still have unconsciously some stress going on. And it's like, it's so complex. We're running out of time. I can't go deep in this, but the sugar is number one. Number two, I will talk more about sugar tomorrow. So remember, fat is 1, sugar is number 2, gluten is number 3. Gluten is a bad guy, and even you think you might not be sensitive, sensitive to gluten. Gluten, there is a great scientist, he's in Harvard, his name is Alessio Fasano. And when you Google Alessio Fasano, there's a lot of presentation on YouTube. You can learn so much. It's like content coming from everywhere. How gut health it's really everything. And he's talking about leaky gut. I will talk about leaky gut on Thursday. But I want to tell you today that gluten, why is it bad? Because gluten opens up the the zonula, basically the cells in the gut. I will talk about on Thursday. It's open up in every one of us, transiently. So we all have, if we all eating gluten, some of us are more sensitive to it, some of us less. But he proved it, that it's like it's for all of us, the gluten can be issue. So it's something that if you really didn't know about the oils, that's fine. I'm sure you knew about the sugar, and I'm sure you knew about the gluten. But with the gluten, I will talk about Thursday. But what I want to tell you today is, if someone is going to gluten-free diet means that you will exchange for the baked goods, which is gluten, obviously, right? So it's the bread, the pasta, the pizza. You will not change this for gluten-free goods. So it's gluten-free diet. I have to tell you today, because I see so many people go so wrong and they don't getting better because they changing other kind of process, non-gluten substance into their life, and that's wrong. So it's not good to go from a cracker that is gluten to non-gluten cracker, because you will not improve, because you might be sensitive to these proteins that are in non-gluten seed, like in quinoa, for example. And so gluten-free diet means to go from this baked goods to vegetables. That's what it is. So instead of pasta, you can make the sauce that you wanted to do, and instead of that, do zucchini and carrot or any vegetables that are cookable. Obviously cucumber and some vegetables you can eat raw. I will talk about more about this later in the week. But gluten is a big source of issue, especially if someone has a Hashimoto. Gluten should be cut out completely, because some people will still react to the rice cracker, because the rice as well has different protein, but it still can be linked to this. It's not easy. It's not easy, because if I know I help so many people cut sugar. Basically, that's my big thing that I'm doing now. That's the health coaching, nutrition courses and programs. And if I say to people, so let's cut the sugar this week, and then I tell them, well, and then as well the bread, and all that, it's just like, and what I will eat. So for some, I'm sure some of you eating really wonderful diet, and some of you will be like, oh, but what I eat if I don't eat the bread? So you don't need to go cold turkey. This is a journey, and I can tell you, because I did it. I was unable to succeed. I cut sugar, and then I just dive in again. It's just like, it's not straightforward, but you have to just keep putting one foot in front of the other and just walk, and you will see that if you do little tiny steps every single day, that you will just look back and see, wow, oh my gosh, what did I do? How is this possible? I live a different life now. I could tell you stories. So this was the lady. She's healthy. She was just she just needed to lose weight, and she found her old. This is like, I love the story so much. Sorry if some of you heard it, but I have to tell you. She had a winter jacket, and she looked in the pocket, and she found a shopping list. And she's reading it and said, oh my gosh, this is disgusting. So that was her shopping list from last year. And because we worked together, I worked with her 1 year or some, I don't know, now it's even more. But that time we were working for 1 year, and she completely transformed her life. What she is, eating, what she's drinking, and how she's happy now, because she feels the body better. So I don't know how to explain that, how much you can do if you really just do little steps. And this week you will have the tips, already now that fat is bad, and you know what to do about it, what to eat. Sugar as well. We talk more about sugar tomorrow, and then gluten. About sugar, I just want to tell you, because the unfortunate with sugar is that it's highly addictive, and people, when they fail, it's because they have sugar cravings. So I just want to give you, we have only 15 minutes, I want to give you a few tips before I tell you the other triggers, because I think you can manage them easily, and how to really stop the sugar cravings if you have, because some of you told me, oh, I can't do this because I just can't stop eating the sweet stuff. And yes, you're right, because we are wired that way. Because every single time when you know our ancestors find the honeycomb, this will be like they will hide it and they would have it themselves, because this is something that we don't have as much. So I understand that it can be difficult, but maybe with these few tips you can really have some eye openers and do better choices. So with whatever you eat, you will crave it. So I can tell you that if you will start eating broccoli and a lot of vegetables, all meals, you will start craving it. I know it's crazy how it sounds, but it's how it is. The body is it's designed that way. So same with carbs. If you eating carbs will cause you to crave more carbs. It's that simple. And that's why I'm telling always people to really focus on PFF. What is PFF? PFF is a good nutrient dense food. It stands for protein, fat, and fiber. And if you will start eating protein, fat, fiber, not only that you will have so many benefits as well for your skin, because you will eat a good oil. There are studies done that the doctors tried to some patients, they ate salmon for 3 days and some vegetables. So omega-3 rich food and vegetables. And then they could see that they felt it was just how it looks and how they feel. So it was not big study, but all the women, they could see and feel better in their skin because the skin was more kind of rejuvenated. So we know that as well. I can tell you as well that when you will try yourself to eat this PFF, you will feel immediately the body better. So protein, fat, and fiber. Protein can be either, meat or any dairy. It's problematic. I will talk about tomorrow because it's can be problematic for some people. Yogurt is less, but the milk, it's big trigger. It can be for some of us. But good fats, as I told you, avocado, nuts and seeds, or olive oil, or the fatty fish like salmon it's wonderful. And then fiber. Fiber is basically all vegetables and all fruits. We don't eat enough fiber in general, so it's something that we have to have much more. And you will see that when we balance the blood sugar, we will just calm the inflammation down. Even if we have something more going on, if you stop eating sugar, you will improve your IBS, you will improve your IBD. It's like it just goes everywhere. And so really try to. It goes that far as well as either drinking. People telling me, well, but orange juice is healthy. I say, well, it is healthy, but because there is no the fiber that we need so much for our gut microbiome, which I will talk about some other day. This is something that where we struggle and where the sugar spike will be really high, because this fiber that is in the food will really blunt it will slow down the breakdown in sugar. So it's this for the sugar. I remember PFF. So every time we want to have, the bread. With the bread, I would go only for sourdough. Or if you live in Germany, they have Abendbrot, which is I cannot buy it here in America, but they have fantastic. Or if you live in somewhere in Scandinavia, they have bread with seeds and nuts. You can see literally the seeds. So we want to eat this kind of bread. We don't want to eat the processed with sugar and all these chemical ingredients in it. Just stay away from that. And not only that, you will improve your gut microbiome, you will improve your gastrointestinal kind of symptomatology, but you will as well will feeling less hungry, and that you can kind of go into intermittent fasting, which is something we will not talk about now. But I just want to tell you that only cutting sugar and eating better food, it just goes everywhere. That's why it's somewhere where you have to start. And as well, the timing is important. When you eat it, how you eat it, with what you eat it. It's above this seminar today. But I just really want to tell you that these are two biggies, and this is really, really important to realize. And as well, another reason for cravings is that sometimes people are not hydrated, especially now in summer, especially when you go in the sun. I had experiment on myself, so it's kind of anecdotal experiment. But I remember I was going on the beach where there was a lot of sun, and I was dehydrated. My skin immediately went red. And when I really eat some lycopene, you know, like kiwi, so tomato, kiwi, I drank a lot of water. I could tolerate the sun much more, because you know you're creating the inside SPF kind of things. We know that the kiwi has properties that, you know, can protect the DNA from sun damage. So it's kind of so complex. So always think of hydration. It not only helps you with the sugar cravings, but it helps you as well for the skin, for the rosacea as well. And as when I told you in the beginning about sugar, it's when we eat it and we don't eat anything else, it will steal the nutrients from the body. Because when we metabolize all sweet stuff, we need the, you know, vitamins and minerals such as zinc, magnesium, chromium to really to metabolize it, to help us to digest and metabolize it. And magnesium is one of the most common deficiencies is in women, so it's important to address it. I know some of you ask about fish oil, so I can tell you what I eat. So every day I have my vitamin D, because even if it's sunny now, I know I'm always low when I don't take it, so I take vitamin D, D3 with K2 together. I will take I take some other stuff. I can tell you more in a week because we will talk about it. But vitamin D is something that I take every single day, and magnesium sometimes, because I had period when I had like crumbs here and there, and I see, well, I'm the woman that is deficiency. So it's something that I would definitely encourage you to ask your physician. Again, you can test it. But magnesium it's so important. It's really super important as well. Zinc and chromium are important. So if you can have some multivitamin, ask your physician. But this is something what I will do. That's what I do. And we will talk more about other stuff related to sugar cravings on Friday. But because we're talking about habits, but I want to tell you today about sleep. Just one sentence, because if we don't sleep, we will, like the science is so big now, and it's clearer and clearer, and it was so overlooked. I'm not sure, I never ask a patient, I mean, I don't know if Enka is asking, but we never ask patients, so how many hours of sleep you're sleeping? We never ask our patients, and it's so wrong, because sleep is it's oxygen for the brain. We need to sleep, and it's oxygen. You need to sleep as well for your skin. You know, it's not just so that we saying the beauty sleep. I don't know when that came from, but we need to have a good night's sleep, because if we don't run these regenerative processes, we will still kind of ride on this inflammation, and it's so important. If you have sleep issue, it's possible for many reasons. Again, I don't go there today. We have it's just so complex. I wish I could tell you, but we will sit here another 2 hours. So just make sure that you know that sleep is important, and you must find out how many it's for you. If it's 8 hours for you, or if it's 9, or it's like 7 till 9 hours is on average that we should be sleeping. And there are many ways how to improve your sleep. What I would not advise is to take melatonin, because we know now there's more and more science that melatonin is not something that it's the body is producing it in a very controlled manner, and if we just hit it with the dose that we just swallow, I don't think it's ideal. And the expert advising not to do it is not me. I'm not in this field, but I can just tell you now that I would never, if I have sleep issue, I would never take that. Enkela is asking, I'm asking, yeah, great, right? But 10 years ago we never asked patients that just have sleep disorders. Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's why we have to dive deep in this sleep issues, because otherwise we will never get better. This was for me such a big pillar. I can tell you, this was for me such a big pillar, because I realized that if I bought Oura Ring, because I said I have to tackle this sleep, because I don't know what's going on. And I realized that actually I never counted it. It was like 4 hours, 7 hours, 6.5 hours. So I never slept 8. And if I slept 8, it was like interrupted with something. So I don't know how it's about you. Maybe tell us how is you and your sleep. Stress and movement, I will talk about Thursday, how that can really improve your skin. but this is something that we have to look really in close. So it's 55. So I tell you the three other ones, and I will talk about them later in the week, because I will talk about the food sources. So we had 5 triggers: fat as a first, sugar as second, gluten as a third, corn and soy as a fourth, and alcohol as a fifth. You might be surprised why corn and soy. Yeah, they trigger because majority of the crop, corn and soy, are GMO here in US. I don't know how it's end of the world. End of the world, the rest of the world. But the corn and soy are inflammatory. So I'm not talking having, like corn on a cup once in a while when you're having barbecue. Oh, and barbecue again. It's like barbecue is not ideal either. If you boil corn, if you boil corn in the pan, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about corn then it's processed, like popcorn, because there's a bad oil and everything that's made from corn, the tortilla chips and all this. This will create inflammation in the body. Same with soy. So this is a simple fix. You basically don't have it. And alcohol is something that I will talk about later as well. But those are the 5 triggers that we have to see. And then there are spicy food, histamine high food, food maps, fermented food, and all these other things. That's the fine tuning that we have to find out what we can have, what we can't have. What I can tell you today is that I had a lot of I couldn't eat a lot of food because I was on a low histamine, because I couldn't have high histamine food, because that's like you filling the bucket. And food maps, I couldn't dare to have so many high food maps food, because I would just have a carrying food baby because I had SIBO. So I have all this. I have everything. I had sleep issues. So I know that if you get checked one after another, you can heal. I just want to give you this message today because it is possible. And there is a lot of controversy about fermented food. Yes, if someone has SIBO, the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and you give them kombucha, they will explode. So you have to be always, we start always with elimination diet, taking all these triggers that I told you today. We have to take it out. It's some work, but it's possible. People feel amazing afterwards, and then you have to nourish the body. It's not only taking out, this is just first step. You have to know what you have to add into your life with what food to eat, so you can nourish your body, and that's even more important than the triggers. Because I see people so many times, and then I ask, so what do you eat? They eat little nothing. There's maybe no sugar, no gluten, no dairy, but there is nothing else going on. Like there's no nutrients coming in the body, which is super important because the body needs to thrive. And sometimes, very often, we need to get the nutrients from outside source. We cannot create all these, vitamins and minerals. So that's why it's super important. Jamie is saying something. 3 young kids make me impossible. Yeah, that was my case. That was my case. That's where my face. I told you once I was pregnant, once I was breastfeeding, and I like my daughter didn't sleep. It's obviously always, it was my fault, but she didn't sleep 4 years, and like she didn't have good full sleep. So that creates some inflammation for sure. But you have to find a way. I seek help to find some support how to make my daughter to sleep better, and because there are some sleep whisper, and I can tell you in 1 week I had different baby, but then we moved, so it's like it's another story. But there is things that we can make the kids sleep better. That's what I did my second daughter, but that's why I was already have rosacea, so I knew what is the trigger. Anyway, so I don't want to go over time. It's 2 o'clock. Always ask why. Do the journal. I will add the journal in the email that goes today with the recording. I hope it was helpful. I want to tell you everything, but I can tell you just little that fits in the 1 hour. but just make sure you are looking for the fat, you're looking for the sugar, you're looking for the gluten. I tell you why gluten on when we're talking about the gut health. And please, 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 please take advantage from this week. I'm here today and tomorrow until Saturday every day. So make sure you are here